Hi there, everyone. I'm back to this preview, and although I've done preview match day 30 Bundesliga 1 over Easter weekend, and although I've done a preview yesterday, maybe you check this one out with a somewhat different approach. I'm still doing the one you're used to, maybe, and maybe you take something from that as well, although you may also get a bit tired from that because it's always the same. We have some tiny bets, some tiny deviations to market between computer and market, and so I have a bet virtually in every game with every probability that is different from someone else. So if you ask someone, how likely is it Steffi Graf is going to marry Boris Becker, or anything upcoming for the future? You have your guess, the other one has his guess. So you say this is 1 in 1,000, he says it's 1 in 100. So you would have a bet. If you do not know how to do it, take a perfect betting game. 1% against 1 in a million. Or 1 in 1,000. This is what the one guy says. This is what the other one says. So, this is the true price for this. This is the true price for that. So, how do we do it now? So this is Steffi Graf going to marry Boris Becker. What do you think about that? Yes. No. Okay. Yes. We have that one. No. No, sorry. That's what the one person says. So we got this one here and this one there for not to happen. Now we got the prices to pay, true prices. It would be this. And then we would have fictive, how do you say? Some fancy basic amount we bet. So then we have, what I bet is my probability plus your probability times this, but I need brackets here. So you can do it very easily all by yourself. So this is mine plus yours. So I bet 11 here, or we both bet this, and we got this plus this times this on the other possible outcome. So if this were in euro, this is still fantasy amounts. Because this is not relevant. It is relevant what happens in case of yes, payout, yes and no. So what happens? So I bet this times, if it happens, it's 100, right? This minus this times this. So this is quite a lot. And in the other case, it is payout is this times this minus this times this 18.1. So, well, all that happens here is the player who says it is more likely, well, he should be the one winning, right? So that would be plus. So I had to deduct this from that, but then it's from the viewpoint of player 2. So if the one says it's 1% and the other one says it's 1 in 1,000, okay, then you would happily pay these 9,900 if it happens, if his guess were right. If it still happens, well, he may be poor afterwards, but his guess was right. If this one is, well, okay. These are the payouts. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, as soon as you have a huge deviation here, you also fancy on the, well, if it happens, it is a lot you can lose, right? If you say it's a very low probability. But if you would say it's 0.09, something like that, right? Then it instantly becomes a lot less relevant, more or less, what happens. The one says 9 in 1,000, this one says 1 in 100. It's still very unlikely to happen, so this guy is gonna win very rarely, but a much bigger amount. This one, I mean, he's gotta lose more or less, well, every time. He's gonna pay this small amount, but in case he's still right and it once happens in 100, then you would still have some bargain in the end. It's not, I mean, you can do that. This is just, I mean, it was just a fantasy idea, but you can set it up yourself easily like that, right? Just both sides have to write down a probability, agree on a basic amount you want to bet for, you want to go for, which is not, I mean, it's not really what is at risk, right? It is just some basic amount. This is what is at risk, more or less, right? So the one side bets 211, the other one 202, because that's what they can lose. Or, I mean, this is the possible payouts. These two. Anyway, maybe enough about this perfect betting game. But as soon as you disagree on a probability, you can instantly have a bet like that. And as I'm not, you can also say, well, I say that's 2%. The other one says it's 1%. Okay, then let's have a bet. No, then I say, no, you may well be right. I adjust my probability. You are right, it's 1%. The one to speak first has a small disadvantage in the sense that the other one, right? This is when you say higher or lower, right? When you make this, then the one has to make a guess. And then the other one says, no, this must be more than that, right? How many Greek people live in Chicago? That's 400,000. No, this is less. The one makes a guess, the other one has a huge edge on that. If he just has to say more or less, if he has to make a guess all by himself, he still may have a small edge there. If the one says 400,000, and the other one can say happily 300,000 and may already be a lot closer, because it's not neither 400 nor 300,000, but he can make sure to win the bet. Anyway, there are lots such things. We got, well, I've taken down, as usually, I've taken down the true prices. Computer says, you just see here the probabilities or the true prices. You can take them down for yourself and have a look whether or not you find a bet here somewhere at betting market yourself, because as soon as someone pays more than the true price, he's going to lose. In the long run, it's not going to happen in one single instance or one single bet. You see here Wolfsburg has been adjusted. I'm not going to type them in once again. Anyway, no, this is a market. This is myself here, but you see anyway, this is as close as can be. I typed these in properly. This is best bet market, best prices. So I typed in these, and if there's a change, this is obviously they are undergoing some changes here. 8.52, that's now 8.54. I don't know why, but a market adjustment, but I wouldn't know who's doing that. or where the action comes from. Anyway, market, I'm forcing market to make it 100% because you only can take part in the perfect betting game as long as you distribute the 100%. You have to say yes or no, as in this Boris Becker example. You say I think it is this likely to happen, then it is this likely for it not to happen because it's the remainder of the 100%. Here we say it's three chances, win, draw, loss, but we also have prices for all these three chances at market, so we have evaluations for the probabilities there as well. Now the 100% are well distributed. This is computer. This is bet markets prices. Here it's shaped to 100%. Now we got these percentages, forcing market to say that this is what we think, or well, the community thinks. And we are once again very close. Usually market most likely once again with the draws, maybe a small difference that we always did have, but it's not striking at all. Catching the eye. Here you could say, well, market says it's a lot more likely, but it's never really much. And in Freiburg Dortmund, I would say, as in Bayern Werder, as I say, it's clearly less likely than market says. So we have some bets here. Although I also have 78.6%, market has clearly more for Bayern to win because they are on a good run. So usually people bet for that. The prices are more or less made by the punters. I mean, market doesn't need to calculate these probabilities any exact or so. Just needs to, well, make a starting price and see what people do with it and when they start betting it. That's the Asian market, at least. The European market is not that relevant anymore. You see here we have some minor differences as usual, and we have this common calculation. Based on these 1000 and the example I just showed you, this is my probability plus your probability times this amount of money and so on. So this is how much we bet. Here are the possible payouts. As soon as there's a difference, there is something to happen. And here it's more or less draw or away win. Here I would say I lose on the draw, I win on the away win. Home win is more or less neutral. Why would I say so? Or why would it be profitable for me or by view of the computer? Because the computer says it is less likely that a draw happens than an away win. My market says it's more or less the same, or even it is a bit more likely the draw is going to occur. Which you can always argue about these draws. It is I showed those stats, and it's not that much to argue. I'm pretty right with my computer evaluations. Market doesn't care so much, but here I would say a draw is no good for Stuttgart. So if you want some more preference for there is some for Stuttgart to win. I mean, draw just doesn't help them. It's 6 points and it's 5 games to go, and they need to catch up 6 points, and also to Augsburg it's some more, maybe it's 7, but with a win it could be 4. I mean, so they come somewhere within range, and a draw is no good at all. So there's one more point in favor of my chance. But it is not what my compilation is based on. It is just what the computer says, and I didn't adjust this. But here there would be a further point in that. In Bayern, as usual, we're going to lose on Bayern a win, but if a draw or away win, a very unlikely one, it's going to happen. It does really pay out. It really helps a lot. So because the chances are low, we both say so, but if I say this is a couple of percent more, which is here like 2% more extra percent for Werder, that I guess it is. So in these 2% of the cases, or in these 2% more of the cases, I win this much money. If someone were there to pay it out. In Mainz, Düsseldorf, it's not neutral, but I'm going to take Düsseldorf, no problem with them. They always performed well. Also against Bayern, you must not count this game, but if you would count it, they were very okay in that one too, although they lost 1-4. So and Mainz were okay, no problem. But that 5-0 over Freiburg was just a gift. I mean, they were not better. They just scored all the goals. While Freiburg, lots of chances and couldn't score. In Leverkusen, Nuremberg, I'm pretty neutral. We more or less agree. I'd still happily take Nuremberg. They just performed well last two games. No problem with them. They were just okay. They could have beaten Schalke. It was 1-1. They could have beaten Stuttgart, Schalke, what was it? Stuttgart and Schalke, Stuttgart on the road. Schalke at home, they could have won them, they could have lost them as well, but against Schalke they were much better in Stuttgart. It was pretty okay, their effort. 1-1 was fine. They had lots of chances too. So I'm happy, no problem with Leverkusen at all. I'm 20 euro, I might be able to afford, but if this comes out, I'm no problem with that. Leverkusen are good, won the last one, but lost 3 before that. To take that back here. In Gladbach, Leipzig, we're fully neutral, so I'm not gonna talk about it. Or I do, in the sense that I say both are actually fine, because Gladbach, as soon as their efforts did improve, the results went down. I could show that, but I may have done so yesterday in the other video. But this was really funny because they had all the good results based on not so great efforts. They were okay, but then at some point the efforts got better and the results went down. So at that point I would have bet against Gladbach when they had this very good results and bad efforts, or much lower efforts. Now recently it's the other way around. But no problem with Leipzig, so they are just good. No problem in this game. Here I'm happily going to take Hoffenheim. Market always, says to some extent Schalke are good enough. They are no good. I'm going to take Hoffenheim. That's fine. Freiburg, I see that I can't see that. I mean, Freiburg drew with Bayern, which may be an indication already. But they were playing well all the time, and in home games they wouldn't step back at all. I mean, they just play their kind of football. And if anyone would talk about crisis, then, some reason to say there's a crisis, it was Dortmund at 0-5 in Bayern, where I thought they could easily shake that off. It was not the case. It was a very bad effort against Mainz. You can't say otherwise. Although the first half was okay, as I was saying, but the second half was just so shaky that everyone would say, well, this is no Borussia Dortmund, so why would Freiburg be afraid? Now, Dortmund could start well again, no problem, but everyone who saw that would say, well, no problem, let's give us Dortmund, we're happy. And so I can't see that huge difference here. I don't know where this comes from. Table needs, okay, but Freiburg play at home, no one would, they are not going to give an inch away. In Hertha, Hannover, I don't want either one, so it's just whatever comes out here. But if it's Hertha, no problem with that. In Wolfsburg, Frankfurt, I would rather argue a bit more in favor of Frankfurt. But they won yesterday against Benfica, and they may have, that was great. But it's 3 days to go, they play on Monday. So, but they can be happy, or they can be distracted, or they invested something into this game, and maybe they relax for a second, but there's Champions League at stake maybe as well. But on stage, no, I don't know. But so they can win the qualification. So this is maybe even more worse than semi-final in EuroLeague. I don't know. It's worth some money. So no chance they are going to step back or relax or anything like that. Anyway, we're through with that. They're not this. This is once again the big two. I don't know why market. Well, in Bayern, I wouldn't even argue this is always happening. Still, it's some deviation, which is a bit of a surprise, because Werder had been doing well also in Munich at times. But this one I wouldn't understand, because they were talking so much about this crisis, Dortmund crisis also. So, and the other one are more or less neutral. If you take Düsseldorf, okay, fine. Go ahead, Hoffenheim, okay. Okay, anyway, I close with that. I hope you, at least I wanted to have done it, so, and I'll be back on Tuesday then with a review. Okay, thanks a lot for watching.